Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for January 18th to the 20th of 2019. All right, so this weekend, these 3 days here, we do have a lot going on astrologically. We'll go ahead and break it down one by one. Essentially on Friday, the moon's still going to be in Taurus, so still good for accessing that resourcefulness. And we may notice some themes regarding relationships with Venus trine Mars, maybe some good synergy and assertiveness, yet also a bit of receptivity in those relationships. Along with this, though, we do have quite a deep mind with Mercury over Pluto. Great for empowered communication as well. And the Sun squaring Uranus on Friday can give us a bit of restlessness. So really good weekend here to be conscious of that and see what are our needs in terms of freedom and change and incorporate that in healthy ways. So then once we shift into around Sunday, we do enter into the Lunar Eclipse energy, which will be around the Sunday-Monday time period. So awareness coming in about our life path this weekend, more than likely, where we may be shifting direction with this. Now on Sunday, again, quite a bit going on. Mars is squaring up to Saturn. Maybe some resistance, feeling a bit blocked. So good to take the patient approach around Sunday with matters. And involving those relationships on Sunday, maybe a bit of dreamy energy coming in here where we can be surrendering what's outside of our control regarding the relationship area and be as clear as we can in those relationships as well. All right, so let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this weekend. We're going to break this down for one day at a time here. As you can see in the astrology, lots of aspects, lots of things going on, especially this lunar eclipse that we'll be feeling mostly around the Sunday time going into next week. Now, I will make a separate video on the lunar eclipse, so I'm not going to dive into that in detail. I'm going to spend most of this reading talking about the weekend, but I will upload that lunar eclipse video quite soon, definitely before the weekend or maybe on Friday, actually. All right, so let's take a look at these transits here. So on Friday, coming into the weekend, we have a lot of familiar energy from Thursday and even from Wednesday, and this is the moon in Taurus. So this is still Friday, making it a great day for accessing our resourcefulness, fundamentally as a backdrop. Really good for taking things slowly and steadily, connecting to the material life, the enjoyments of life, nature, having gratitude, things that help stabilize us, ground us, and give us a sense of that inner and outer security. So with this, we do have some of these aspects, right? So probably, they're all very important, but one that we were already feeling from maybe Thursday, Wednesday, is Venus trining up to Mars. And so this is a nice synergy here between the masculine and feminine aspects of ourself. And as a result of that, maybe some good synergy in relationships and how we're connecting. With this, we can be quite assertive, yet also receptive. Quite direct, yet also wanting harmony, wanting mutuality, having a good understanding of others' needs, and things like this. So really supportive energy when it comes to those matters. Now, kind of on that same token, Mercury is going to be passing over Pluto in Sagittarius. Now, Mercury represents more of our minds and communication, and this is going to be going through this bit of transformation here on Friday. What I mean by this is, along with this kind of synergy in relationships, we could just have a bit of a deep mind here on Friday. And it's an inherently neutral aspect, so it's neither inherently challenging or easy as much as it's our willingness to dive deep, and I think we just naturally will be. So things that involve this, great day for research, uncovering hidden truths, thinking about things on a deeper level just in general. And as a result of this, maybe communicating some of these deeper things, right? Mercury does involve communication, so we could be feeling quite empowered maybe with communication and just quite non-attached when it comes to these things. So it's that non-attachment that then sort of allows for this transformation, and as a result, there's likely going to be, from this deeper awareness, a bit of maybe a new understanding of things going into the rest of the weekend. And maybe this more non-attachment to our communication that can also help us feel quite empowered right? So any intentions you want to set around the deep truths of life or expressing those makes Friday a great day for that. So with those two things, we also do have the sun squaring up to Uranus. So this one is collectively more on the challenging level. And by the way, Friday does have a good balance, I would say, between the easy and challenging aspects here. But sun square Uranus, this could be a bit of maybe restlessness. Uranus, the planet that wants to break free, could be that side of ourself. We may be wanting some excitement or change or freedom in some way, but the square can make it maybe a bit uneasy. So we could be feeling maybe a little impulsive about this, maybe rash, maybe a bit nervous energy sometimes with Uranus because it's a very high frequency, high moving kind of energy. So some constructive ways of working with this is to be conscious of it, as all squares do help us do. And it's through that conscious awareness of these needs that want to maybe break free or create the excitement or change or whatever it is. Through that awareness, we do implement it in more healthy and balanced ways. In fact, it makes it a great day for anything that our true self, that side of ourself that wants freedom, it's a great day to connect to that, to do these things, bring in some excitement and change into our life, but with that conscious intention, makes it nice and grounded. So again, we're not doing anything rashly or impulsively with that. All right, so that's the energy of Friday, and that's definitely all of this is going to be carrying over into Saturday, which is kind of a cusp day where we start to come off of Friday's aspects and start to enter into Sunday's aspects. So along with that, shifting on Saturday, the moon will be also shifting sign, and we'll be going into Gemini. So the theme will likely shift a bit into maybe getting into our sort of inquisitive side. Makes it a really good day for learning, reading, writing, things of this nature, and just noticing themes around this kind of stuff. And again, maybe themes around communication and sharing with others. So great day, Saturday, Sunday, to get into that flexible side of ourselves that is curious, willing to learn, try new things, all right, picking up that book, sharing, communicating with others, things like this, really good to develop with the moon here. So with that being said, what we'll likely start to feel on Saturday going into Sunday is two aspects in particular. One is going to be Mars squaring up to Saturn, and the other one's going to be Venus squaring up to Neptune. So both of these are on the challenging side, and it does coincide with the lunar eclipse, which I'll talk about. But with Mars square Saturn going into Sunday, there could be, again, collectively, it's all going to depend on how we work with this energy individually, but collectively there could be this sort of feeling of being blocked, where we have our needs, which is Mars, something we want, or we want to assert ourselves, take action, but there's this kind of resistance in it. We may be noticing essentially our limitations, or maybe some limitations are being presented to us. And so the whole purpose of it is to align our long-term self with our short-term self, or our long-term needs and our short-term needs. And in this way, as all squares do, it becomes very constructive. So this is the kind of energy that, although we might feel a bit blocked, it helps us become aware of how to work within those limitations. And when we start to work within those limitations, we really ground that energy. And it even builds a very strong sense of character, that arises from this, and really helps us focalize in terms of what it is we truly want. Because the things that pass a square to Saturn, that pass the limitations, the gauntlet of limitations, are the things we actually do want. So it has this kind of effect of also stripping away all the things that we don't want, because if we're not willing to put in the work, if we're not willing to be patient with it, then maybe it's not something we really want at the end of the day anyways. So this kind of energy, now it is going to go exact on Monday with the lunar eclipse, but we will start to feel it as we approach that. So again, anything you can do on that patient level, long-term perspective with our needs, with your needs, excellent way of working with this square. All right, and then the last aspect of the weekend we'll probably be feeling mostly on Sunday, and again we'll go exact around that lunar eclipse, is going to be Venus squaring up to Neptune. So this one, going back to the whole kind of relating kind of side to things, the square to Neptune can create a bit of dreaminess, or maybe uncertainty, or maybe idealization. So it's very important this day, going into Monday, to be clear in our relationships and then also about our perspective of relationships, just to keep everything nice and grounded. Because again, a square to Neptune is kind of that wanting to escape, maybe unconsciously, right? Want to escape, maybe some things being presented to us that, is at the end of the day helping us have a greater sense of presence and acceptance and listen to our intuition. So any intentions you can set going into Monday regarding listening to your intuition, surrendering what's outside of your control regarding relationships, and being as clear as you can just to make sure that we're not wearing any rose-colored glasses, or, we're seeing things clearly and communicating things clearly and things like this. This is then an excellent way of working with this. In fact, it can be a very compassionate energy, because when we are present in our relationships, a great sense of compassion, understanding, even a spiritual energy, a spiritual connection in our relationships, right? So any intentions you can set with that is great. So it's really saying that there's this side of ourself that wants this sort of essential connection, but the mind might want to dream or idealize about it. So being present with our relationships really helps that become very constructive. All right, so all of that is a mouthful. Now, like I said, I will be doing the lunar eclipse forecast for that, so do stay tuned to that. But essentially what it's going to be about is, as we approach the Sunday, Monday time, there's likely going to be some awareness coming in. It's like a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse, full moon, and it involves the North Node. So the awareness will likely be regarding our life path and maybe shifting some new directions based on that awareness. All right, everyone, so I'm not going to go through a recap of all of this, but essentially there's this kind of pivotal weekend here where on Friday we do still have a lot of this synergy in relationships, maybe a bit of depth in terms of how we're thinking, and good to listen to that true self that wants freedom and implement that consciously. As we get into Sunday, the moon shifts into Gemini, great time for learning, flexibility, especially if it involves being patient about our needs and wants, and being as clear as we can in our relationships. And as we gain some awareness about our life path, which will likely be shifting as we go into next week. All right, everyone, so have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for the lunar eclipse forecast. Take care.